I noticed this notebook on my desk. And I think I got it at Dollarama. Well, I know I did. And I don't know, I haven't really written anything in it yet. Oh, I did. I'm not sure if I'm able to embody that yet. And I was thinking about, well, what do I wish to see? I wish to see people that are happy, healthy, and creating. And I thought of something I created in terms of part of my context, which was happiness first, which has to do with lifestyle design. And also healthy is treating the body very, very well. Be on one of these outlier type diets that are really healthy as a gesture towards a body that one is really making an effort to take care of it. And health augmentation, so not so much thinking about harm reduction, but thinking about health augmentation and taking micronutrients as part of that, which increases quality of life, and then other things that I can do for health augmentation. And creating is creating a business, and also all those other things that I mentioned, possibly creating. And being crazy creative instead of a crazy person. And if you're a crazy creative, I invite you to create your own context or add to the context I've created, or co-create some of the ideas with me or other people. And there's already people doing a lot out there. This is my contribution to that energy. Let's have new conversations with ourselves and with each other and move into this crazy creativity. And I wonder what the synchroverse is. I made up that word, synchronicity, and I feel like it's creating a new world for people to move in a different context when this creative energy comes about. And that could seem a bit grandiose, but I'm going to go with it. And moving forward, showing the process of creativity, at least this process of creativity. And there's no doubt I can create a lot of words, I can create a lot of meaning, I can create a lot of context for myself, but what does that extrapolate to? And maybe it just extrapolates to that I can extrapolate, but I haven't exercised the ability to extrapolate to other things, mainly because this process that I've been in right now with self-dialogue has taken up 20 hours a week, which is a lot when I've been working part-time at different times and still living life. So yeah, with this little boost of coffee and with this little bit of planning, my brain is feeling a little bit more excited about the next phase of life. And I wonder if all this meaning making was mostly a reaction to nutritional deficiency. And I say that because now that I'm taking these micronutrients, I haven't been having as many insights. And perhaps the brain doesn't need to extrapolate meaning when one is receiving proper nutrients. I don't know if that makes any sense. It felt like I had to make all this meaning and context out of all these altered states I had and mental health crises, when it could be possible that my brain just needed some nutrients. And now that it has that, it doesn't necessarily feel the need to make meaning out of ideas and insights and thoughts. Perhaps it can create something. Perhaps that energy will be channeled into making music, which could be ultimately a new way of creating and feeling fulfilled. The process of self-dialogue fulfilled itself. It allowed me to get onto the micronutrients, and now I can get on to creating other things. And to me, the nutrients are more of a root cause resolution, and it's resolving this propensity to make all this extra meaning in order to reconnect me with the moment and be able to walk out my life and daily life instead of extrapolating abstractions, really. It was creating enough abstract concepts to move out of the abstract concepts and beliefs I'd been told in terms of the memes of the mental health system. So now that feels like it's not necessary. And since it's taken about 1,000 hours of my time to do that, by talking to myself and editing the videos and downloading them and everything that I've done, I feel perhaps this next year I need to invest that 1,000 hours in embodied action. To me, the two that are important are creativity and altruism. And to me, creativity and altruism are both actions of the no self. So the ego self is that which blocks creativity, and it's also that which blocks acting selflessly in any given moment. So starting September 12th, I need to invest 1,000 hours in the year in creativity and also altruism, and perhaps sharing that journey. September 12th, I do have an appointment to donate blood, and I'm really excited. And I have donated a number of times in the past. They took my blood when I was on lithium and Zoloft and trazodone. So it'll be nice to donate pharmaceutical-free blood. And whoever has their life helped or extended by that, they'll be getting some really clean and wonderful blood. And I want to suggest to myself investing that 1,000 hours and also $1,000 in altruism, as well as perhaps 1,000 in health, 1,000 in business, 1,000 in creativity, and 1,000 in lifestyle design, which isn't much. And I'll probably forget that I've even said this. That's the trouble. So perhaps talking like this on a daily basis, though, whatever the resonant ideas of the day, will eventually help me create what it is I'm going to create. And perhaps I can use a similar process of not worrying about remembering what I said yesterday, or whether it's right or wrong, or whether it's something that I carry out or create, but just engaging the brain in thinking, creativity, and in creative possibilities. And I do want to expand my epigesturetic matrix, which are for gestures of creativity and gestures of altruism and gestures of lifestyle design and gestures of health. So the money is actually part of the gesture. So if I buy something that's healthy, like goji berries, or I'm planning to buy this haritaki powder that I learned about that helps to cleanse the pineal gland, and so does turmeric. And I watched these two cool videos. One is called The Secrets of the Pineal Gland, and the other one is called How to Detoxify Your Pineal Gland. And the one that was The Secrets of the Pineal Gland, a lady interestingly said that when it first opens, there's this huge opening and it feels so foreign and scary and everything, but eventually we get used to it and it just feels normal. And that's something that I feel in my own experience, that I've been able to create this energy to feel normal, as opposed to it feeling so ecstatic. The ecstatic part is the opening, but it's not part of this on a daily basis. And it can be grounded in daily activities. And I do wonder about this micronutrient thing, addressing more of the root cause of some of these mental health issues. The brain creating abstractions and worries and fear and terror and meaning and abstractions away from the moment, or adding more to the moment than what's there, could be as a result of not having enough nutrients. So then we create all these psychosocial programs around it and medication and everything, whereas if people had proper nutrition, perhaps that would take 80% of the pressure off the system. And I wonder about that, because through this process of self-dialogue and taking micronutrients, I have removed myself as a person needing the supports of the system, which then takes pressure off the system. So if we're able to engage in a process that moves us away from the system, then there's less pressure on the system, and then there's naturally room for people who do need that, which could be about 20% of the amount that is being utilized right now. Who knows? It's hard to say. And I'm not saying that should be a motive of people as, oh, I want to do this to take pressure off the system. It's for one's own quality of life. And I've been making a lot of meaning and context over this year, and I had an insight that said to me, let the moment make meaning out of you. And I did have one insight that I wanted to share, one extrapolation, just to humor that. And I was thinking about our current reality as a sort of sensory deprivation tank. And if you know anything about sensory deprivation tanks, they block sound and light and even the sense of gravity, because one is floating and everything. So in that experience, one can hallucinate sometimes or have altered states of consciousness. And I was thinking about how reality, as we experience it now, deprives us of most of our senses. We have an overemphasized sense of ego self. We have an overemphasized sense of desire and pleasure and getting what we want. And we have a less sense of beauty and smelling the roses and seeing the roses and interacting with nature and a lot of the things that we're biologically coded to experience. So in that way, it feels like the way the current reality is designed might naturally cause us to hallucinate, because it's depriving us of a lot of our senses. And then people who experience altered states and hallucinate and then are interpreted by a psychiatrist and then medicated, that deprives the senses even more. And then that often leads to people having a deprived lifestyle. For example, an awful scenario being people living in their parents' basement, watching TV all day long. That deprives the senses, so it seems to me that might naturally lead to more so-called hallucinations, because again, the senses are being deprived, much like a sensory deprivation tank. And who knows if that's true? It's just something that I thought of and I wanted to extrapolate, since I still have permission from myself to do so until the 400th video. That's all I want to talk to myself about today. I will make that video with my songs in a row just for fun, and after that I'll only have a couple left until 400, so I might make some kind of intro video. I started writing something up today, it just happened, that I might share. I have a tickle in my throat.